Hey, welcome to my channel where I talk about dolls, and that's literally it. And in this video, I have a lot of Maplelea stuff to cover. I've got 3 new outfits that I'm going to be trying on American Girl dolls and Maplelea dolls. I have 3 of the new Maplelea and Me dolls to unbox. I have Sila's new Amudi, which I will also compare to her original Amudi because I ended up buying that on the secondary market very recently. And I also have a very, I'm going to call her a special custom. You're either going to love her or hate her, but do keep in mind that I'm still healing from all the work that it took to customize her. So do be gentle. And I also have a fun little announcement, Maplelea related, to make, I don't know, probably at the end or somewhere near the end. And it's something a lot of you have been asking about. So for those of you who've asked, I have good news coming. And as you probably know, other things come up in these videos all the time. I have a lot of stuff in these boxes. So let me jump in first with the 3 new outfits. I was right. As I was going through the box to pull out the 3 outfits I'm going to start with, there were things in there that I forgot about. So we'll see what that is when I get to it. But for now, here are the 3 outfits. I've got the Digby Docks, which is a Jenna outfit, the Canadian tuxedo, the Bows, Boots, and Hearts, which is a Brienne outfit. This isn't any doll outfit, that's why I didn't say that, or say whose it was. And then I've got the Sandstone boots to go with the Canadian tuxedo, because it's Digby Docks and Canadian tuxedo don't come with shoes, but Bows, Boots, and Hearts, as implied in the name, come with a pair of boots. I'm going to start with the Canadian tuxedo because it's the one I've had the longest. It just, the timing didn't work out for me to open it yet. And the same with the boots. So as I usually do, I will go through the details of the outfit. I'll show it on American Girl now. I'll show all 3 outfits on American Girl, and then I'll show them later in the video when I get around to opening the Maplelea and Me dolls, how these outfits look. 3 outfits works out perfectly to show it on the 3 new dolls. So first things first, here's the denim jacket, which I believe I read that these were made by an actual denim or a jean company. So that's why they're really good. I always say that their clothes are like shrunken down garments, but this is going to be one of those times where it's extremely true. And are these stretchy? Yeah, there's a little bit of stretch. That's good because of the limb difference. And as you can see, there's like a nice wash on there. The maple leaves are embroidered and orange stitching. Are these metal buttons? If they're not metal, they feel like metal. Yeah, they feel like metal. And then of course there's a journal page. And I do believe they explain the history of the Canadian tuxedo, like how it got its name, how it came to be. And it's one of those things that a lot of us know in Canada. There's an American singer named there was an American singer named Bing Crosby who went to stay at a hotel in Vancouver, which is our West Coast. And I don't know if it was a really fancy hotel or because Bing Crosby was a celebrity, they didn't believe he was Bing Crosby because he was wearing denim. And so somebody, I think it was Levi's, made a Canadian tuxedo in response to it for Bing Crosby to wear, as if to say like, oh, if denim isn't fancy, is it fancy for you now? And I see, there was always a joke about that growing up. I didn't realize that it was so old of a story. I thought it happened in the 80s because so many people made jokes about wearing a denim tuxedo in the 80s. And now let me open the boots because, see, the thing is, I was thinking about the 80s, and that's why I chose the American Girl doll who is going to wear this. But first I want to open the boots because then I can do the whole thing at once. So again, journal pages. I don't think I'll have as much to say about this page because I don't know the history behind the Sandstone boots, but it's Calgary Sandstone Comeback. And since I don't have the information myself, I'm not going to sit here and read it because that's not really fair. It's not the same thing as just knowing stuff, you know, showing off. And so these are boots that feel kind of like suede, and then if you see, there's a faux sheepskin inside, and then their trademark soles with the maple leaves. Both of those out. And even though these aren't very 80s, I'm talking about this being 80s. It's not supposed to be 80s, but I was associated with the 80s probably because of my age. And so I've chosen a doll to wear it who I don't get to show on here very much because I made her so specific to the 80s. It's my Ariel doll, and I named her Kimmy. And that's why I've never really been able to use her as a model, let's say, for trying on clothes. And now I finally can, after I get all these buttons undone. Ooh, they're really done up. Oh, no, they're not. They're snapped. That's nice. That makes things a lot easier. But oh, so there's an actual zipper. That's weird. I guess because they got an actual denim company to make it this time. So usually there's maybe a snap, and then it's usually Velcro, I believe. I don't think I've ever gotten, I may be remembering wrong, but I don't think I've ever gotten a pair of Maplelea jeans with an actual zipper. So that's a really fun little detail. I think it is. And it's just a little tiny zipper, so it's cute. That's why I was trying to show it to you. And it's got a little, anyway, I don't know if you can see it from there. Maybe I'll try to show it to you better once I get our Ariel a little clothed. And so as you can see, what I sometimes often like about the look of jeans or Maple Leaf pants on an American Girl doll is that their shorter legs make them bunch up on the bottom. The length of it is can be a little bit longer, but I guess if you hike up the waist, that takes care of that a bit. Before high-waisted jeans in the 80s, I don't remember that much. I just remember there being a lot of acid wash. So anyway, what I was saying is, so that's the size of the zipper. I don't know if I got to show you enough before. Can you see? So there's a little tab, and just about what was that, about an inch? 2.5 centimeters for the Canadians. Oh, and that's another funny thing is, even though we do go by centimeters in Canada, I don't tell people my weight in kilograms. So yeah, we actually do. I feel like it's more common to use inches and pounds. And so I'm trying to get this done up, the button around her wrist, because because their limbs are so chubby, it might take a little bit of work. There we go. I wanted you to see it in real time, so if that was a little dead air for you, at least you know it wasn't that much of a struggle. And if you decided to get this for your American Girl doll, it would probably be less of a struggle for you because you won't be recording. And this is the wider spread hand, but I don't think that the wrist is any thicker. Let's see if it's make you suffer with me. Come here, Ariel. Yeah, this wrist was a little bit trickier to get done up, so I just stopped recording so you didn't have to be so bored watching me. And I have to admit, this is a very modern looking wash, so it doesn't really have the 80s flair I was hoping. And I also left her t-shirt on because the tuxedo part doesn't come with any kind of shirt. It doesn't come with any kind of shirt, but you can, if you're someone who doesn't like to wear a jean jacket over your naked torso, then you'd probably want to put a shirt on, and maybe you want your dolls to feel the same way. So here you go. I'm going to put her boots on and then bring her up a little bit, show her a little bit better. But I just want to show you all the different steps as I'm going through this, because you wouldn't necessarily wear it buttoned up, but the waist is really high. So let me maybe untuck her shirt. Maybe that'll look cuter. Or pull them down. No. I don't want them pulled down because then she'll have a saggy crotch. So yeah, that's another, it depends on how you like. I'm just trying to show you different styles just in case you want to know to your taste what you can do with this particular outfit. Because I was really excited. I almost bought 2 of them because it's so mix and match. But I actually at this point have a lot of different denim items from Maplelea, because they do make a lot of jeans, and they're all different enough that I can justify having all of them. I mean, I almost justified buying 2 of these. And if I do in the future realize I want to have more of these on display, they're still left. They still have some in stock, so that's always a good option to return to. Yeah, this is really cute. I don't know if they have I don't know if they pair the Canadian tuxedo, with these boots on the website in the stock photos, but it looks really cute. It looks like a pretty cohesive set, like it could have been intended. But that's the other good thing about them being separate, is you don't have to feel bound to whatever they suggest, or whatever it comes with. So now I can bring her back and show you the boots. Hopefully you're getting a good sense of how it looks. I think the boots are a really good fit. And did I make them sit funny? Because there's a line going down. I think it's giving her a really funny, I don't know if silhouette's the right word. It's making her look really hippie. So maybe you have to straighten them out a little bit so that she doesn't look, I think I had them looking funny on her. But it's just a matter of getting things in the right spot. She is a little bit too 80s. It didn't have the effect I wanted, but it was nice to use Ariel for once. What am I going to open next? So this is Digby Docks. As I already mentioned, it's Jenna's outfit. And on the website, they have it paired with a few things. One item is the sort of raincoat set that hasn't come out yet, but it's showing, I think, as coming out later in November. But it is its own thing. And the other things it paired with, there's her fisherman sweater and some of her shoes, and I have those to put it with it on when I try it on. So here is, okay, so it's not a sticker, it's printed on, as in, you can't, how sometimes when something's printed on, you can feel it? You can't feel it. It's a very soft shirt, cute stripes, little lighthouse image. And then these are, of course, soft, because they always have I don't know what they do. I should ask. How are their clothes so soft? But I mean, they get the manufacturer overseas, so maybe they don't know how they're so soft. Anyway, so nice blue, and these are buttons. I don't know if you could tell. Not functional, but they're actual buttons, not just printed on or anything like that. What's up with the pages? Scallop Days in Digby. So that's what I guess Digby is a place. I'm not a geography expert. In any capacity. I barely know the streets around me, but context clues, it's a place. And so what I said about the pieces that they pair it with on the website are these shoes, which are, they are embroidered. So they're really detailed. And I also think this could go with their Turtle Expedition outfit, which is why I brought out the backpack, because I just like things like backpacks, and I think I can just put it all together, accessorize like crazy. And then this is a really nice cable knit sweater. I've shown it before, but I really want to see it all together as a set the way they do on the website. And just because I really like the new sock set that they came out with, the story, the tale of 7 socks or something like that. So these are Jenna's socks, ones with lighthouse, and because of that, they look like they would, I don't know if you can see it together, so angles, but these socks look like they would go really, really well. And because it's Jenna, it's a Jenna outfit, I decided to bring out the American girl I decided to dress is Anna. I feel like I show her all the time, but I just felt like it. And I don't really have a lot of redheaded dolls that look a little bit more like Jenna with the bangs, and I braided my Jenna. So anyway, I should just show you how these fit. It's obvious these are a stretchy, soft material. I believe they're more of a capri fit on Maplelea, so they're probably going to be full size on an American Girl. Yeah, they hang lower. They hang as low as I expected, which is lower than they do, which is good because then I could probably see some of the socks. I wonder if I could even hike it up a little bit more. Yeah, I guess it's just about pulling up that waist to get it where you want. Because I do want to see those socks because I'm tacky like that. And so this is a Velcro top, as you would have seen and maybe heard if my mic picked it up. So it'll be easy to put on is what I was getting with that. The only problem with Anna is her earrings totally clash. So ignore her earrings because I'm not going to pull them out because then she'll have gaping holes in her ears. So now let's see. The colors may be a little off, but I feel like I haven't gotten to use these socks enough yet. Cute. And everything I'm showing is either it's currently on the website, like so these may be sold out and coming back, so they're new stuff. So it's not like I'm showing you anything that's retired and not fair to show. Because if you do like the way I put this together, not saying you will, but if you do, you could do it yourself. And so that's what I'm saying is you would have already in another video, but these videos tend to get so long that you can either forget or it can get buried. So it's okay to show you repeatedly. This was her bigger foot, so you didn't need to see all that. However, you may want to see, oh, that's so cute. You may want to see the outfit before I put the sweater on, because this is one option of how you can use this outfit and the pieces. And they pair these shoes with this outfit on the website, but I don't think they put the socks on. So that's one way of incorporating more of her pieces together. Should have fixed her shirt a little bit. There you go. And now I can show you with the sweater that this is one of the pieces that may be sold out. They have so much stock coming in right now that, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab these plastic sleeves because I can see that that's going to be a problem. And when you get the Maplelea dolls, as when I get around to that point, I believe I know that's where I got these, but I think they still do all come with these. So it's a good idea to save a pair. And I just want to be transparent that this brilliant idea wasn't mine. People have just seen me struggling over and over again with certain kinds of sweaters on my American Girl dolls. And I was told so many times, and it just took I think it took about maybe 6 times before it finally got through my head to save a set. And this is the hand that's wider spread. So it's especially important to put it on here so now you can see the difference it makes, even though I didn't show you this time around without using it. Oh yeah, this is perfect. Oh no, did you see that? I panicked. When I pulled off the sleeve, the plastic, I didn't hold on to the sleeve and make it stay up. I'm seeing how cute it is and I'm not even showing you yet. But anyway, here you go. Now, let's move her hair just so you can see. And bring her back just so you get the whole picture. Cute match, right? Looks like a good cohesive set. And then I would imagine when you get the the rain set that hasn't come out yet, they have also paired all these pieces, and that comes with a pair of boots. So it would be the top, the pants, the sweater, and then that rain suit. But I have a feeling that you wouldn't want to do all that for an American Girl doll. But we'll see when it comes out. Because I made it this far, I might as well just put on her bright green. I don't know how it looks on your monitor, but it is, or your screen, but it is very bright. So yeah, when that comes out, I'll try all three pieces again, and we'll see how that goes on an American Girl doll. And then the last outfit I'm going to show is the one that I said was already complete. It's bows, boots, and hearts for Brienne's collection. And so this is an outfit. I don't want to make it sound like I wasn't as excited for the other pieces. It's just that this was something that when I found out was being made, I felt it was completely to my taste for dolls because, well, the boots are really cute. So they're almost like, Taryn has these fringe benefits boots that are brown. They're not shaped the same, but it's the same kind of fringy kind of boots and just like a khaki color rather than pink. And I love that they did this maroon, burgundy. I don't know the difference with pink. It's like, it makes it more, I can match this with other pieces of Brienne's collection. And here's what I loved so much, because I was saying to them, one of the things they asked me was, you know, what I like to see more of in the collection. I said overalls and corduroys. And they kind of laughed. And it's because this is an overall corduroy dress. So that was, I got real excited when they showed me this. I think the hearts are plastic. I guess they don't actually button up, right? Oh, they are actual buttons. I thought you would be expected to slide these over the doll's shoulders, but yeah, they're actual functioning buttons. Yeah, so it's cute. That's cute, little detail. And of course, the pockets are functional in the sense that you can put your finger in there, but their hands aren't going in. And then there's a bow detail on the pocket that you probably saw, but I'm bringing it back because now I'm talking about it. And then it's a very complete outfit. It's got this top underneath, again, very soft, but a bit more spandexy feeling. I think that's what it kind of feels like, but it's not stretchy. So it's just got that kind of feel to it where it's a bit more spandexy, and these are very cottony. And then there's embroidery across the chest and then on the arms. So the same similar pattern. There's a bow and hearts because it's Brienne and she's very that girl. And then it comes with tights that also have, these are tights, right? Am I saying the right thing? It's not, is it embroidery? I can't tell if it's printed embroidery. Maybe it's like threads. So it's not like embroidery, but it's threads of that color to repeat the pattern from the top and just make it look like one story throughout the entire outfit. So it just looks like, I mean, you could mix and match, but I just think like it looks so good as a set. Why would you ever want to mix and match this? And then here are the journal pages. I forgot to say in the beginning that it's English, French, and a blank page, but I think by now most of you would know. I hope this isn't your first Maplelea video of mine. You would be so lost. And it says Western Days in Sandy Lake. I was trying to read on the monitor, but I was like, Sunny Lake? Sunday Lake? Sandy Lake. I, again, don't know geography enough to be able to tell you anything about that, but I do have a doll. I'm also excited to show this on, but as I was gathering the dolls, I was trying to think of things that like I said, interesting dolls I don't show a lot. And I often forget about using my Moana doll because she's so, how do I say this? I've got her so specific in my collection in my mind. And then I was like, you know what? I haven't shown Moana in a while. Her name is Rosanda, and I often forget that she's a Disney doll and a Corinne mold. And then as I got her out, I was like, oh, I got all Disney dolls for this. So I just want you to know that that was a total fluke. I was picking them based on how I thought they would look in the outfits, not because I wanted to have a very Disney story for this unboxing. So I often, every time I get Maplelea tights, I mention that there are often basically a bodysuit by the time you put them on an American Girl doll. So I always want to see with you if this is going to be one that is more of a regular tight size or if it's going to go up to her armpits. I'm thinking armpits this time. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to pull it up as tight as I do or stretched as far as I do, but I just think it looks nicer that way. So I like to get it up as far as I can get them to go. Yeah, cute. Yeah, see? It just almost goes up to her armpits. And I think next we would put on the top. And this looks like one of those garments where the sleeves are long enough for the Maplelea doll that they would probably be a little bit long in American Girl, which I prefer. I prefer it to be a little bit longer than a little bit shorter, especially on the Maplelea dolls. I just prefer the look of a full sleeve for them. And I've said this before, but I think I also like when things are a little bit long on dolls because I'm only like 5'7", 5'8", around there, so I'm not very tall. See how I said it in inches and not in, I don't know why I am in centimeters. So I think I like how it looks because that's how things look on me. They bunch up a lot, so I'm transplanting my own feelings onto dolls. So there you go. It is a plastic button, confirmed. At least that's how it feels to me, so I shouldn't say confirmed, but that's how it feels to me. And the corduroy it's like a thin corduroy, so it doesn't feel, it's not going to be very bulky. Like sometimes materials like that can feel very bulky on a doll. But this is, and even though I've seen these items in development, I haven't been able to touch any of them until right now, just because when I go there, my hands are not available. Like they're, yeah, so I can't really touch anything because I'm usually holding a dog when I'm there. I don't know why I left that, so that's not something I want to leave unfinished sentence. That's why my hands aren't free. And it was fun to choose Moana because this is definitely not an outfit I would put on her. It just doesn't really suit her character for me, the character I have of her in my head. But it's so cute. I feel like this is just an outfit that would look cute on anyone. And I was also worried that because of the difference in the limbs that you wouldn't even be able to see the detail here, but you fully can. And let's see how they are once the boots are on. So there's Velcro. Quite a few of their boots, like even the first ones I tried on, are just a slip-on. But because of the tights, I was really hoping that this opened up, and it does. So try to bring it closer so you can see if I struggle at all. I'm just struggling keeping the Velcro open is what it is. I think this is the smaller foot, so that's being a little bit of a chicken, starting with that one. This is the bigger foot. So maybe I should show you how it is. Because I should concentrate a little bit so that I'm not getting Velcro all over these really cute tights. I do feel a difference. But it's not as hard as, it's never as hard as I make it out. Just know that. And I want to make sure that the designs line up properly. And to any of you who saw my very last video, in which I basically complained for an hour about American Girl using too much pink, this is how you do pink right, where you use quality materials and it's not the same cheap looking stuff all the time. So I don't want to sound like a hypocrite that I have this pink outfit that I'm look at it and I love it so much. But I did say in the video, and I do say whenever I talk bad about pink, do you think the bow goes on the front or the back? I'll try both and you can decide. I don't know. I don't wear cowboy hats, so I don't know. But anyway, what I was saying is I did mention that I like pink. I just like when it's done right. And this is so cute. But you know, I've been wanting this in my collection for months and months and months. So that could lend a little bit to my excitement. Very cute, right? But let me turn the hat around for you so you can decide. Yeah, I feel like the bow goes on the back. I just can never tell. Yeah, I think it's gonna be yeah, I think that's a bit much to be in the front. So anyway, I'm just gonna show you and then I'm gonna turn it back around because that does look kind of weird. It doesn't even sit on her head properly, so I think that's a clue as to which way it's supposed to be worn. Yeah, so much better. Weird. You turn it around, it sits better on her head and everything. So now you've seen the three, I said the three outfits, but the truth is I have Sila's a new Amudi, and I also got the snowshoes, 2 pairs, because some things I need to have 2 of. And I got her new Arctic hat because it's in, I don't know why I'm telling you I was going to show you in a minute, but I'm just letting you know that I'm going to be showing, the 2 Amaudis, comparing them, and then I'm going to put them on Sila and an American Girl doll, and then I'll switch them so that I could show you how it looks on both dolls. And I haven't tried her Amudi on anyone yet, so it's my first time. I mean, I've looked at it. Of course I've looked at it. I was really excited to get it, but I haven't tried it on yet. So I don't know how it's going to go. So I'll put these girls behind me so you can still see them, and then I'll get go get Sila. At this point, I feel like her, what was called Amazing Amudi, there's a little bit of a saga at this point on my channel because when I did my Sila spotlight, I talked about how I never got around to getting her Amudi last year because I was getting so much new stuff that it was one of the things that I thought, oh, will they bring it back? Or, I didn't, after it sold out very quickly because they would only do so many at a time because they're made up in Nineveh by people, actual humans by hand who make Amaudis for humans. So they were just something that they couldn't get a lot of at once. And when I unboxed her, I said, I talked about her at one point and I said that you have to pounce when the Amaudis become available. And then when I saw that Maplelea was working on a new Amudi, which is in this box, I believe, I found out that her old one was retired, and I was so disappointed that I didn't pounce enough, and that I don't think they anticipated that it was going to be unavailable, that they weren't going to be able to source it anymore. And when they found out, it was like too late to have warned anyone. I don't think it ever made it into the Last Chance boutique, which is on their website. If something's in the Last Chance boutique, that means when that whatever they have left in stock sells out, it's going to be retired. So it never had a chance to make it there because I don't think they planned to retire it, or maybe I didn't know I didn't really understand the Last Chance boutique back at the time, and maybe it was, but my understanding is that they didn't know that it was going to be until it was too late. So then when I was traveling, I should be bringing this stuff out. So I also have her new, like I said, the new Arctic hat and mitts. So let me bring these over here. So while I was traveling recently across Canada, I went to the west coast I went to Vancouver, which is the story I told about the Canadian tuxedo a long time ago now, probably. And somebody had this, and it wasn't in Vancouver. It was too far away for me to travel there. And I, not desperately, but excitedly reached out to them to ask if they would be willing to ship the Amudi. And they had a few other items. Some of them I'm going to show you right now because they go with Sila, and others I've already shown. And luckily she was able to ship it to me because I wouldn't have had room for it anyway, even with in my luggage, even if I could get there, which I couldn't have. So I was lucky that she was able to ship it, and now I have it. And I just decided to bore you with that entire story. I don't know why, because I've told it a lot, but I feel like if I'm showing it, now is a time, and I can show you the details because I was so excited when this showed up. I couldn't wait for an unboxing because I had so many other things to show anyway. But let me now explain to you. So the inside is the whole thing is fleece. So it feels like a very warm garment that you would wear. There's a faux lining around the hood, and then even the hood is has that same fleece inside. It comes up into this little point at the top, and the colors are really beautiful, bright white, and then the blue and maroon. And so there are just a lot of details of this Amudi. And before I show it on anyone, I don't really think this goes with this looking at it now. I think she had another hat called the Pang hat, and then that was the same story where they were being sourced by humans who are used to making human-sized hats. So when they would come in, they would there would be only so many that they could make at a time for dolls. So I just think that was another thing that was really hard to source and maintain or sustain. And now it's happened to the Amudi too. So now here is the new Amudi. So this was called the Amazing Amudi, and this is called the Ulu Amudi. So I'm going to compare them, and I would try to understand that they're not comparable because, handmade versus produced, I guess you could say. So this comes with her new pages, and they come in. So she gets 4 pages. There's a Inuktitut, English, French, and a blank page. So that's the Inuit language. That is a dying language. When I did my Sila Spotlight, I forgot to mention this, even though it was kind of an interesting tidbit, that on the one hand, it's a dying language because of I guess, colonization or globalization, whatever. They're using more and more English up in Nunavut. So they're losing their original language. So they're always looking for people who know the language to teach it so that the kids growing up keep with having the language. And when you look at the writing, the type of writing that it is, I just thought it was kind of based on, I don't know if you can see it from there, but I thought it was kind of based on like hieroglyphs, that kind of writing. But it turns out it was never a written language. They just spoke the language, and that's the only way it was communicated. These are things that Catherine found out. Catherine is the owner and the president, founder of the company. So she found out all these things when she was there and told me, but there were only so many stories I can get out when I was doing, it's very soft. The fur is still very soft, but white instead of, more of a wolfy kind of color. So she told me a lot of stories that I just couldn't tell. I couldn't get them all out in her spotlight video, in Sila's spotlight video. But what she explained, Catherine, is that this is based off of some kind of, it's a writing. I'm not familiar with it. I'm not familiar with the type of writing. I think it's something that is kind of lost too. It's something to do with short script or something like that. So secretaries, when we used to call them secretaries back in those days, when they would learn how to write things that looked kind of like this, and they understood. So instead of writing out an entire word, they would write little like symbols so that they could so their boss would dictate to them. And instead of writing out that entire sentence, if I understand correctly, and this is what I remember Catherine trying to explain to me. So they would write things out like this, that look kind of like this. So when the colonizers or whatever, when the non-Inuits went up to Nunavut, I believe that's how the the writing got started, and that's why they have writing now, even though Inuktitut, such a hard word for me to say. That's why it was always a spoken language, not a written language. So now back to the actual Amudi. Yeah, I mean, I could feel a difference, as in this one, I can't explain the difference, but this feels a little, rough isn't the right word. This is just really soft and really smooth, and it just feels a little more textured. That's a better word to say, textured. And the fleece inside doesn't feel as thick, which may be good, because I've heard that this can be a tight fit on maybe on American Girl dolls, maybe Maplelea dolls as well. And so yeah, to compare them side by side, they both still have the string that goes around. Does it come up the same way? Oh, okay. And just looking at how the string attaches on the actual garment itself. So I just want to, first I'll show them close up, and then I'll have them on dolls, and you'll see them that way too. And there's quite a big price difference. So the Amudi, I think the highest it got to when it was still sold on Maplelea was $90, and it climbed up from 55. I think it started at 55, and I could be wrong. This one's 55, so I might be confusing the number. I think this is 55. But what I'm saying is, you can look this up, but this was definitely 90 the last time it was available. And I just think because it costs so much to get them made, that the price kept climbing up. So now I've talked your ear off about these Amudis, and now I can finally see them on the dolls. And then I'll show the other pieces. It's just, yeah, I have not seen this on Sila yet. I was waiting until I, could react to it on video. That's the problem when you have a channel where you react to stuff or unbox stuff. It's like you would be excited and eager, but it's like, oh, I can't enjoy it right now. I have to wait until I can sit down, put on my camera. I don't even know if I'm putting this on right. So I'm just going to slip it over her head. Fingers crossed, hope for the best kind of thing. So yeah, what I was saying just now is there are so many times that I really just, when I get something, I'm excited and I want to open it up. But I've kind of committed to this little gig over here of showing people myself opening things. Oh, maybe I should untie this. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but I wouldn't want that to get ruined. I don't know if you're seeing the process. I really wonder how I'm going to do this with an American Girl. I might not be able to show you on camera when I show it on an American Girl, because her other arm's up over her head over here. We're figuring this out. And I mean, this isn't even, it's such a hard to find piece. I was very, very lucky, but just in case, it's not really to prepare you if you find it, but it's more to show you, just in case you can't find it, what the process is. I hope that's some consolation. There we go. I think it's tied in the back. When it showed up, it was already tied up, and I think I did leave it tied up in the back. For now, I'm going to put the older hat on her just to keep her hair in place, so things are a bit more, let's say, controlled as I'm figuring this all out. Because there's another thing I want to show you. In the stock photos for this, Sila has a dog and a puppy that come together, and they're coming back, I think, by the end of November. Ooh, maybe I should go on her doll stand first. They're coming back by the end of November, but they're not back yet. And I have had just her puppy for a long time. And what I was saying about the stock photos for the new Amudi is that this isn't as dangerous as it looks. She is secure and nothing's going to get ripped, but it's just, she's bouncing around a lot. Oops. It's like a tail. Let me show you from the back. I never noticed that in pictures before. So what I was saying is maybe I should put these on. She has, in the stock photos for that, they put one of her puppy up in the hood, which I think, if I could be making this up completely, I think sometimes people would put a baby in there, or I'm thinking of a papoose maybe, and I'm mixing up memories. But I think when I saw her in the stock photos with a puppy in there, I was like, oh, it's like her little baby. So maybe that's where I'm crossing my wires here. So let me bring out her little puppy, whose name is on his collar. If it weren't for that, I would not remember his name at all. So his name is Nanook. So this is a puppy, a husky puppy that I've had for quite a while, but the same person who sold me this Amudi also had the older version of her puppy and the mom. And I'm sure it's not different production runs. They're like a different color. But I just think, this could be older, or, who knows where the different ones were kept. But the thing is, it's not like a dog would only have one puppy. So I think of them as litter, what are they called? Litter siblings. They're from the same litter. And so this is an older version of the husky that will be restocking. And it's like all the other not dogs, it's like the other animals who have the plastic skeleton. I don't know if you're going to hear it in my mic. I can barely hear it, so I don't think you will either. But what it means is that you can pose the dog a lot. The dog can do many things of, have her, it's the mom, have her sitting down or like lying down or whatever, and will stand very securely. And these stand securely too, but they don't have any beans in them or anything. Anyway, what I'm saying is these dogs are coming back soon. I'm going to get them because I like the idea of having, it'll be like the dad dog, the mom dog, and then mom dog, and then there are 3 little pups from the litter. So anyway, I think I just love the animals, all the pets that they make, so that's why I'm really enticed to buy it too. I'm actually going to worry about I'm going to put them off screen for a second just because I want to get this Amudi onto an American Girl body. Wish me luck. Well, this one might be easier to put on, and then I'll get to the snowshoes and the other thing. So I already have my Pedro doll, is what I call him, Pablo, I don't know why. Pedro dressed in an a Maplelea outfit so that he looks ready to go. All right, let's see if we can do the same thing she did. Because, oh, you know what? He's an older doll. He's a TLC doll. And so that means his arms have more movement. The strings aren't very tight. And he is a little bit chubbier because he's older. You know what? It's not as hard as I was expecting. I don't know what it's going to be like when I switch them around, though. I might not put you through it. I'll just explain it afterward. It'll be like a tell, don't show, as opposed to this one. Yeah, that was pretty easy to get on him. So the 2 things to keep in mind. One, he is older, so his limbs are looser, but they're also a little bit chubbier. So even with both of those, I guess they kind of cancel each other out. Oh yeah, so I don't think this hood will fit the puppy because this one just has a bigger hood, and I haven't even shown you him yet and how cute it looks. It does feel very different. Not a downgrade, I don't mean it that way, but as someone who has both, I'm very glad that I have both. So, if you have this one, you would definitely want to get this one because it's different enough. So I should show you the back first, together I mean, because there's a big difference in the tail. So this tail obviously comes down a lot lower, and other than that, I'll bring them close. And another thing I want to mention before I bring them up is he's wearing the Red River boots, which if you don't have them, you need to get them. If you have any means of getting one pair of boots, make it these because they are so fantastic. And when I open them, I said that, or when I unbox them, I mean, but it's like every time I look at them, they're just like they're like pieces of art, little masterpieces. So here are the differences. I don't even know if I'm getting them both on there because there's so much to show of them together. I'm maybe too close. Whoop, this way. So they're very, very different. I don't know why when I saw them, when this was in development, I don't know why I was convinced it was red. And it's very magenta in person, like a deep pink. So now that one thing I want to do is show you what I meant by how they had the puppy stuffed into, it's stuffed into the hood like this. And I don't think it's possible. I'll bring it back and show you now again, because I don't think I showed this enough up close by himself. Isn't that a little cute thing to do? That's why I feel like I need 3 puppies. 1 to put on each if it fits in this. I don't think it will though, because this feels a lot tighter. I'm even having trouble getting the hood up over her hat. I must have done something wrong. Oh, that looks so cute. Let me bring her back now. You have to always put up with my annoying little tendencies of getting excited and wanting to show you everything. I don't think a puppy's gonna fit in there. I'm not gonna bother. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother because you're not gonna see it. It's gonna be like, if anything, it'll go right into the back of the hood. So now I can finally show the new Arctic hat and mitts, which are in here. Before I get to the snowshoes, listen, I'm really excited about those snowshoes. So I think that's why I'm almost like procrastinating out of excitement. Oh, and they're a re-release, but I'll talk about that when I get to them. Anyway, I'm still thinking about the snowshoes. Warm head, warm hands. I'm sure they're the exact same. Are they the exact same? KS33. I didn't bring out the pages to know if it's the same, if everything's the same, but they show the new color of the hat that I haven't shown you yet. Oh, so it's not mitts, it's just a hat. But I think so maybe these are the old pages. You know what? I only saw a picture of a hat in the stock photos. So just if you're gonna buy these because you want the hat and mitts, just confirm, because it does say hat and mitts on here. So the hat is very different. It's blue, and I'm thinking I feel like this goes better with this Amudi and then this goes better with this one, but I thought it was going to be the other way around. You know, I'm just gonna keep it as is. I'm gonna put it back on. I'm gonna put the new one on him. And I don't have an answer about the mittens. Sorry about that. I just know that I didn't get them, so just be cognizant if that mattered to you. But I needed both. I needed one for each of the Amaudis, and I really like the new color. And I'm sure, you know, when something's new, it's really exciting. So I think like if I feel like, oh, I like this one better than this one, but I wonder, I always wonder when that happens if I would actually prefer the old one if it were new. Do you know what I mean by that? To make that wording really confusing. Just in case I didn't make it clear, I love that the puppy can go in the hood like that. Looking on the monitor is so funny. It's cute, funny because it's cute is what I mean. So now on to the snowshoes. And I think this is something they had a hard time getting produced. And I could be wrong about how they got them made. I think in the end they got them made at it was getting somebody to get the wood to be able to form in the right shape. And I think they had to go with, I don't know if it was a snowshoe maker or a shoemaker or something that, you know, produces actual something, whatever it was, whether it was shoes or something kind of wood, it was something they did it for humans. But I do think it was a snowshoe maker. And I mentioned that I quickly mentioned that this is a return as in they came back now. And just trying to quickly look, because there's something we learned about snowshoes in school, and I thought we mentioned here, but it wasn't. So anyway, I'll talk about that as I try them on the dolls. So what I was saying about them being a return as in like they are restocking sort of, because they had snowshoes before, but I believe the old snowshoes came with a beaver, like a plush beaver, which was really cute. I've seen it in their archives because they have some archived items in their store. And my only thing is I feel lucky that I have the Kaya beaver, who I think will display nicely. Anyway, so I'm not too upset that it doesn't come with a beaver anymore because I'm just so happy to have these as shoes. And so what I was saying before, I'm going to try them. It doesn't really matter because we're both wearing Maplelea boots, but I don't think you would have to have Maplelea footwear in order to make these fit properly. But what I was saying about snowshoes that we learned in school was our First Nations people, the reason they came up, or the way they came up with snowshoes was when they would observe rabbits up in the Arctic or our other territories, they noticed that rabbits didn't sink into the snow when they walked. And then doing the math, sort of math, or the problem solving in their head was, oh, it must be because the weight distributes because their feet are so much bigger than their bodies. And so they came up with snowshoes. Did I put this on right? So that's how they came up with the structure. It's basically structured after the way a rabbit's foot is in real life. And I'm telling you that because it's a little bonus information. If you didn't know that, maybe you already did. And then I'm thinking, no doll stand would ever be necessary. I love these so much. No doll stand would ever be necessary as long as you have them wearing these. Isn't that amazing? I hope you could see it from there. So this is a really amazing thing to have. And I think Kirsten has snowshoes in her collection. I've just seen pictures, but I don't know if how exactly they work. It must be something similar. And then even if you got two pairs like me, no, what I meant was even if you don't want to have them, if you don't have the room to display them, because you would have to, the doll would probably have to be displayed like this of your shelf. Like I wouldn't be able to put these on the shelf behind me. I would have to put them in my window display. But if I didn't have the room to display them, I could just display them like this, like little pieces of art, because they are very, they're masterpieces. That's why I wanted to show them with the river crossing boots. I think I'm saying those right. I'm really bad with names though. So let me put these on her. I think I forgot to mention this when I tried them on him, but I love these snowshoes so much. I am finding her having a harder time balancing with these shoes, I think, because they're not as solid as his. They're soft and fabricy. So I think she takes a little bit more, not she, but her boots, these particular boots take a little bit more balancing effort. And just like anything else, so I wouldn't bother with a doll stand. You know, I guess I could do one of my flat doll stands if I really was worried about her falling over, because I wouldn't want her falling down on all this stuff that I'm so excited to have. So this is just, let me bring out her dogs to have the entire picture before I go through all the mess of changing them. But I'm going to change them off camera. I don't think you really need to see me struggle. Not that it's a struggle, just that it takes a lot of time. Oh, one more thing is I have her backpack, which I think goes very nicely with her Amudi and all this stuff. See if it fits her. So yeah, this is the most I've ever been able to, I've ever been able to feel like my Sila is really, really complete. And this backpack might be too tight for her Amudi, but at least she's got it. So yeah, you didn't need to see that. So here's a sort of family photo, family shot before I switch their Amudis, and then you can decide which you like better. I just want to get this burnt into your mind because I only have one of each. I'm just popping in to say quickly that it's going on him just as easily as the magenta one did. So I don't think you need to worry if you find the old Amudi, or again, if you can, that it won't fit, because I had heard that it was a tight fit. I'm now on his wider hand, and okay, it went on. So I was about to say that that might have been the struggle, but it wasn't even. So yeah, this fits easily, but I'm not going to show you how he actually looks until he's ready. I figured I showed the not so struggle with him. So let's see just if she has any kind of struggle too. I wouldn't expect it because, you know, it's hers, but I just wanted to show you a little bit too, because maybe it wouldn't be fair if I only showed the American Girl dressing of the Ulu Amudi. Okay, I have so much to say. For starters, am I going to have to rename my Pedro doll and move him to Nunavut and put him in Sila's story because this is the cutest thing? Seeing him in these, and it's probably because it's a Kaya doll, I should, you know, duh, but he just looks so amazing in this that I feel like I want to put him in this and keep him in it all year round because it just looks so cute. So this is how, oops, I should get the little pups out of the way. This is how sorry. This is how an American Girl doll looks in the Amudi. And as you saw, as I showed you, there was no problem getting it to go on his chubbier than modern Kaya's arms. Do I need to say anything else? Oh, now you can decide which hat you prefer because of this. I had him in the magenta hat. No, I had him in this hat with the magenta Amudi, and now I've just reversed it. I've kept them with their hats and just changed the Amaudis that they're wearing, so you can decide for yourself how you prefer. And so and then what I have to say about Sila in this is, first of all, I still love the puppy. I definitely would want to either put her in sturdier boots with the snowshoes or put her on like a flatter doll stand. And she is so cute in this too. There's no way that the amazing Amudi is not going to be the better of the two, and that's just, you're going to have to know that and expect that because of the difference in the craftsmanship. And I prefer the colors of this, not because it's not pink. I don't have a problem with pink. It just looks, you know, the color of the fur and then the white, it just looks something so sharp about it. And I love them both, and I would only want them both because I'm greedy, but also because they look so amazing together. And, you know, either or, it could be reversed. It doesn't have to be, you know, one type of doll over the other. So here is Sila in her Ulu Amudi, and it's hard to show her with these snowshoes on. And I'm just trying to show you, so to look at the hat, which hat you prefer. Because like I said, both versions of the hat are currently available, and I'm not too sure if either one of them is going to retire. And I don't think this goes with this very much, so it probably doesn't go with either one of them. I just like to have so much going on at all times. So let's bring that back out just so you can see them. I'm going to put them behind me too because I still have more things to unbox. So here are the both of Sila's Amaudis and her dog family. And like I said, when the new ones come out, I'm going to get them. I know that. And then I'll be able to compare them and have an entire family of Huskies. So now let me get to opening the 3 new girl dolls of the Maplelea and Me friends. The Maplelea friends. As I said in the beginning of the video, I have 3 of the new girls. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unbox one doll at a time, and I'm going to show that doll compared to a couple other dolls of that mold, just to show the variation and just to show how there are different options and how they can look so different from each other, or maybe I'm biased. And the one I'm starting with, I have the most to say about her because there is a bit of a history with me and this particular doll. So it's KMF 54. And when I opened up a Maplelea and Me doll recently, but there was a lot more I had to say about her, so I didn't go into certain details. I will about the dolls that people have asked me, and so I'll try to cover it a little bit more now. So this, like I said, KMF 54. And so there's a bit of a backstory that involves me, which sounds really, I don't know, arrogant or something. But the thing is, she is one of the 3 new Maplelea Me dolls made from the Black Canadian mold. So before I pull her out, just look how beautiful. Like I have peeked at her. I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't wait until the unboxing. I just had to see how cute she is, and she means a lot to me too. Not as much as the last doll I opened, but she means a lot to me too. And the reason she means a lot to me, should I tell you that now, or let me get the doll out, and then I can bore you with my stories. So anyway, I think one of the things I can say right away is that this is the Black Canadian mold, and it's the first time they've given her long curly hair. So even though I have almost every version of this doll that has come out, one of the from the first wave I don't have, just because she's close enough to the other two who followed, because they kind of have made this doll in certain, they've almost given her a certain aesthetic and haven't come away from it, and now they're getting more adventurous with this particular mold. And I should probably explain that I have a very strong bias toward this mold because it's my favorite. And I got to see some test heads at Maplelea, and I've talked about this a lot, but I'm just trying to refresh or, inform. And so I've seen the potential behind how many things could be done with her. But I had already made customs with this particular mold as well. So I was aware, and that's going to come into the story a little bit about what my history is with this doll. And just so you know, they always come with a journal. I have so many of these Maplelea Me journals that I don't even really bother opening them. And one thing I forgot to mention, because I was blabbing, when I opened my last KMF doll, I didn't talk too much about the details that have changed with the box. And because I wanted to talk about the doll, I was so excited to open that doll. Some of you may have seen that video, so you know what I'm talking about. But these used to have the Maplelea Me box used to look pretty similar to this. There was a magnet that you would flap that you would open. And this used to be a card, it would slip up and down. And I prefer that they've printed this and made it, just giving my opinions because people have asked what I think about the changes. And like I said, I just breezed through everything last time. So I like this better. I like that it's permanent. And I think what I like about it is I understand that they probably made them more generic so that they could just change have more produced, and then they would just change the nameplate. So if it was a Sila doll, it would be the same box, and they would just slip a Sila card over it. And I don't know what that means for the new dolls coming. Maybe they are going to have the same thing, but it's going to say Sila, so it's going to be permanently a Sila box, for example. And so I like this because it feels sturdier for shipping, and because I know that they've had doll sales that because of boxes not having arrived to their warehouse already damaged, so they couldn't sell it at a regular price. So that's what I think. I didn't ask, to be honest. I probably could have, but I didn't think to, because I have other things on my mind when I'm there. And so that's why I think it's a good thing. And I've seen a friend of mine, Outspoken Journey, unbox her newer dolls, and it seems like they're putting more protection around the box when they're shipping too, because I think they want, especially people outside of Canada, they're going to go through more as they ship. So they just want to make sure that they're more protected. So I do think it's for the better. And I know some people mentioned that they prefer the magnet type of box, and I can understand why. People like different things, but I like the fact that these are probably going to be sturdier. But that's just my guess. The other thing that people asked me about with let's call it the upgrades, the updates to everything going on with Maplelea, the dolls and the releases and stuff like that, is there was a price increase, like a pretty, not drastic, but it's as far as I've witnessed, the biggest price increase at once. I think they've gone up $5 at a time, and I think at one point they went up $15, and this was another $15 price hike. So it went from $125, they're now $140 Canadian. And so people ask what I think about that. And the one thing my brain compares, I think, apples to oranges sometimes. So when we had American Girl in Canada, sold through a bookstore, that was the price that we paid for American Girl back then, which would have been 3-ish years ago now. Has it been that long that they stopped carrying them? So I was used to paying $140 Canadian for an 18-inch doll. And yeah, I guess that made the Maplelea dolls feel more valuable to me because they were local now because American Girl is no longer carried here, and because I pay with they're in my currency. Speaking of now, not so when I compare when American Girl was available here, I paid $140 without really thinking about it. Although we used to collect points at Indigo, so I could sometimes put that toward American Girl purchases. And the other thing is, if I like a doll, I try not to think about the price. Maybe I don't know if this makes me sound like an irresponsible adult, but when I do think about it, because then people asking me made me go and think about it. And I just bought for example, Raquel, the American Girl of the Year, who is 135 USD. And I, I try not to look at how much that ends up being, but because people asked, I looked into it. And so that is $190 Canadian. You made me look it up and you made me say it. So the new American Girl dolls, just the baseline dolls, are 100 and they're 195 Canadian when you do the conversion, and that's not working in taxes. So just the retail price is that. So I think that's when I think about the prices, my brain goes, okay, do I like this doll $55 less than I like an American Girl doll? And this is my rationalization. And people ask what I think about it. So yeah, prices go up. I didn't ask what the price was going up for. Like I don't think it's any of my business, but there's just inflation, and I've been collecting long enough and living long enough that I'm just used to these things happening, and then I budget accordingly. So that's my thought on that. And I'm going to dress her in one of the outfits behind me. Which one did I say I was going to do? I think I'm going to put her in the Jenna outfit. I actually don't think that was my original intention for her, but it's too late now. I've retconned it if it was something else. And I think it doesn't really matter because this outfit, of the three outfits behind me, none of them were ever intended for her. I have an older outfit, a retired outfit that I want to put on her anyway, at least try it out for a while. I probably won't get to it in this video just because I want. It's already going to be a long one. And, it's just not important right now. I just want to show you a little bit more about, like I said, the fit. You've seen it on American Girl. And they've been behind me this whole video afterwards, so hopefully that was enough time so that I can show you. I'm going to put socks, so the length of these capri style pants doesn't really matter, but I just want you to see. And once I get her outfitted, then I'm going to show you her hair down. If you're wondering why I haven't taken it out of the net yet, it's just so much Velcro, so much to mess with, and I love her hair, so I don't want to risk ruining it. And then I'll also compare her to the other dolls that I said I was going to bring out, other dolls of the mold, and the two I'm going to show with her are part of her story in a way, because what I was saying before, that I have a little bit of a history with this doll. I don't know if I got into it yet. I'm feeling like I didn't, so I'm just going to start from the beginning if I already did start it before. Is I have made customs out of my Maplelea dolls, particularly with this mold. Not just this mold, but I've made the most with this mold because, like I said, it's my favorite one. And I want to see the Black Canadian mold, did I say that right? In as many iterations as I can that I can get away with the variation that we've had as a base doll. So I ended up making one of the ones I made, one of the ones I made. There are two that matter, but the other one hasn't come out yet. The doll who's going to have a similar story to hers, he hasn't come out yet. So what happened was I made a video after making the customs. It was a really long video, so you might not have seen it, but you might have seen the doll I'm talking about in the background and other videos that I made. So I made a doll from the Black Canadian mold with a McKenna wig, and then I untwisted it. I'll show you her after, for the record, but I'm just trying to tell you the story of how this doll came to be. And so Maplelea sent me an email when they were about to send out the poll, having people vote on the dolls that they want, that maybe join the Maplelea and Me line, the new dolls that have come out. And so they wanted, and they did admit it was because, they did tell me that, seeing her, I think that people's positive reaction to my doll made them think, oh, well, maybe people would like to have a doll like this available in our lineup, a Black Canadian mold doll with long curly hair. So Catherine asked me to send pictures of that doll and another doll who hasn't come out yet, for the record. And so there were enough votes that this doll got made. And so even though it sounds like she's based on my custom, she's so, in my opinion, so different that I don't see her the same. I just see that her journey started with my custom, and then the next stage to her story was that people reacted positively to there being a long-haired doll of this mold. And then the next stage was that somebody at Maplelea must have seen the video and read the comments and wanted to know if people would like to have a doll like this available. And then the next step was the voting, and then getting enough votes. So that's why I think it was like, I feel like it was a group effort that this doll got made. just like another doll who hasn't come out yet of the same mold. So it's probably obvious who that is and how he came to be. Not gonna bother with the backpack. Really, I just want to get her hair out. So let me come closer so that I can show you the curls, because I'm about to show you the doll she's based on, and they don't look anything alike in my opinion. So the hair is, I feel like it's probably textured, but it's also got some product in it to keep the curls as is. So I'm letting you know that my doll is like that. I'm not saying they all are, and you may not like that, but I do. I love when there's some kind of product in a doll's hair that is going to keep its shape, especially if it's curls, because I love curly hair on dolls. I mean, I don't know if I have a bias on humans because I have no hair, but on a doll, I definitely love when there's curly hair. But I like straight hair too, as you'll see in a second. So anyway, oh, I didn't even show you her from the front because I'm so busy like admiring her, because I finally get to see my version of KMF24 in person. I'm already taking her back, and I'm supposed to be showing her to you. So anyway, I'm going to just show you her beautiful hair a little bit more. And because now I want to show you first, the first comparison is going to be with that custom that I mentioned. Her name is Dawson, so she's a KMF 51. Like I said, McKenna wig. And if you ask me, they don't look anything they don't look anything alike, as in like you wouldn't even look at this doll and think it's based on this doll. Just inspired by, you know, people, Maplelea got to see her with long, and they thought her hair was curly, but it's wavy because of the twists. So I think, you know, if I had anything to do with this doll existing, I'm really proud. So here they are, and it's like, to me, they have different characters in their face. Their hair is, I was obviously going to need both versions. And then there's another doll that I'm, of course, going to compare her to, which is my daughter, Avery. This is KMF 57. And the thing is, so this, I'm not going to go into the whole saga, just know that Maplelea was very kind to offer me the opportunity to choose the makings of a KMF doll to my liking. And they did it, and I have her, and she will always be my favorite doll. I don't think it's possible to change it. So I just want to show now. So here is a lighter skinned. This is the lightest skin tone they've done for the Black Canadian mold. She's wearing a handmade outfit, if you're wondering. And then because I'm sure people will be curious, this is actually from the Wednesday season 2 wardrobe, let's say. So somebody locally has made these outfits. I have so many of them behind me because I'm obsessed, and she looks amazing. I don't know if I'll ever be able to change her outfit. I'm sure I'll hopefully want to see her in a different outfit eventually, but for now, this is her. This is Avery. And I took Wednesday's her MW necklace that her mom gave her in the show, because a W upside down is an M, and M stands for Maplelea. Sorry, American Girl, but it's a Maplelea necklace now in my world. So here, I just wanted to show you these three to show you that the face is not only adorable and beautiful at the same time, it can look so different. Just and I know any dolls like that to an extent, but I think she's very diverse. She, as in the mold, is very diverse, and that'll come up again later. So keep that in mind, because now I'm going to move on to the next doll, whoever I pull out next. I don't know who it is, and then I will go from there. This next doll isn't, I wouldn't say she's one of my favorite molds. She's a nice mold. She's the Friends 2 mold. So there have been a lot of dolls from this. So I've reached a point where I have to really love everything about the doll in order to want to buy her or him. I don't think I'll ever do a boy doll out of this mold, but I'm just saying that this doll has so much going for her that I had to have her, and she is KMF 53. And she's another doll, so now they've protected them with this plastic. I forgot to mention that before. Okay, so I haven't even looked at her yet. I just really had to look at the last doll before I couldn't wait for this video. So she's another doll. I mean, I think all the dolls that came out were on the poll, but she's another one who I was really excited when I saw that there was going to be a version of a doll like this, because it's everything I love about a doll. The red hair, the freckles, and they developed a new eye color. And so I on here have talked about in the past, I haven't even shown you the doll. I'm so rude. So anyway, this is KMF 53, and she'll look a lot better when she's out. I think that's why I was eager to tear open the box that she's on. There's the care sheet under there. So whenever I talked about them working on a green eye color that I thought was to update Jenna, who is their doll who has what I have heard people call it absinthe green. I think I call it toxic green, radioactive green. It's just a green color that I don't think is very, because the dolls are quite realistic as far as eye colors go, and their bodies are proportioned realistically. So I always wanted a Jenna. I have the dark eye Jenna now, so I'm happy with my Jennas. But so when I would see these eye color samples, green eye color samples, when I would go into the store, I think I jumped to the wrong conclusion that they were for Jenna. But anyway, they're for these dolls, the ones from the poll, or the poll that they sent out. And when I saw that they were doing a red-haired, green-eyed girl doll with freckles, my fingers were crossed that she was going to get voted enough that she would get made, along with a sort of boy counterpart. I'm sure most of us are going to get them both and have them be brother and sister. I know I am, so it's not like I'm doing anything innovative by doing that. And I hope that people do want to get both. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. I was really excited when I found out that they had passed the voting, because I do think that people would really love her. Let me show her to you quickly before I get with the redressing of her, because she's another one I was excited to see in a particular outfit. And so the timing worked out that the outfit, which is now missing from behind me, in case you haven't noticed, you might have already. Their limbs don't look that different in size to expect there to be that much of a difference with how far up the tights go between the American Girl and Maplelea bodies. Maybe I go a little overboard when I pull them up on American Girl doll, like self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, here's what I wanted to see, if how these hit, because of they hit nicely on American Girl. And so let's see if she's going to look like she's outgrown her shirt a little bit. The way this fit Moana, I thought it would be a lot shorter on her. And I think sometimes it looks like it is a bit shorter because they have a more tapered wrist than the American Girl dolls, and I know I've said this so many times, they have more of like a baby-shaped body, toddler around there. They don't have more, I think this was like around 10 years old. And these dolls were based or modeled to be actual after 10-year-old girls. Should I just say kids, because some of them are boys now? After 10-year-old children. And just so you know, I don't always have names prepared ahead of time when I have a doll on the way. I kind of want to see them sometimes, get them dressed, get to know their personality a little better. And with her, I think I'm going to want to see her with her brother before I really know who she is. So far, I'm feeling like a farm cowgirl kind of thing, part of Brienne's world. And I have an outfit picked out for him that is also part of Brienne's world. So that's why I think I just need to see them together before I can fully commit to their characters. Same with KMF54. I feel like I want to get to know her better as because she's not in the outfit I want her to wear. And I don't like the name that keeps popping in my head when I think about the doll. The name is Princess, and I have to think of something else, because I don't want her name to be Princess. It's just, if dolls name themselves. I just want to show you this before I take off her hairnet and put the hat on her, because she's got really nice, long coppery red hair, and it's curly, so I should probably be doing this at a better angle where I can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Oh, you know what it is? It's stuck on the Velcro. That's why it was coming off so funny. But nice curls, right? And I know every doll can be a little bit different with the curls. And oh, wow, she looks so much better when you get her hair out. It'd be nice if I showed you, right? Anyway, I'm going to put the hat on her. I think it's going to make her, make her look even better. But this is such a nice color combination. The green, I didn't really make you look at the eyes enough yet. So anyway, I had seen a few versions, samples of the eyes as they were developing them. And every time they showed me a pair, I was like, oh, that's so pretty. Yeah, use those ones. And they were like, really, Blaine? You don't find them a little bit too yellow? And I was like, no. And then they showed me the next one. The next time I was in, I was like, okay, you know what? You're right. I like everything. That's my problem. So I'm not very helpful when it comes to these things. So that's why the color they ended up choosing was perfect. How do I get her, probably is fine. I just wanted her curls to be out. I don't like that the band holds her hair back, but I'm just being too fussy. But anyway, I could figure that out later anyway. So let me bring her back before I start showing her to other dolls of this mold. Yeah, I wish her curls weren't, I don't like how that's holding back her hair. Why didn't Moana look like that? What did I do wrong here? Listen, some of you know by now how obnoxious I am about getting them to look right, because I can't stand it if they're not flaws, but things that I don't particularly like. So I had to separate some of her hair so that I could bring it in front of the elastic band so that it's just looks prettier. I just had to have her look prettier, okay? It's just the way I am with my dolls. And I didn't even mention yet how much I love this outfit on her, but I think it looks so sweet. I haven't seen this yet. Because they had it on Brienne in the store as they were developing it, which makes sense. It's her outfit. And so now I'm excited to see it on her. It looks really good, and I think it'll help me develop her character in my head. Now I'm going to show her to two of my other favorite Friends Mold 2 dolls. And the first one is Maplelea and me are KMF 30. She is one of the lighter skin tones, but even though they're both probably equally light, they're made of from different runs or different batches. So something about it looks different to me, but maybe that's part of the lie I tell myself to justify having all these dolls that kind of look alike. But she doesn't have freckles, okay? She has black hair, all right? And she has brown eyes instead of green. So, oops, I should have brought them both together. I got so excited to show you Willow, my Maplelea and me 30. So I think there's enough distinction between them that they don't look like the same doll over and over again, which I can't totally say is going to be the same about my next doll. But what can I say? I do have certain tastes. So not only is she Friends mold 2, she has freckles and reddish curly hair, but it's not the same kind of red. And she's got brown eyes. So that's a huge difference. Totally different. But I'm going to show the other thing about this particular doll. Ooh, let me get Willow over here. The other thing about this particular doll, I named her Anya, is she has, because there's always more than one working mold for each doll. As far as I know there is for Maplelea dolls. And so I feel like this one has a bit of a wider head. Like she looks different because of the shape of her face. So there we go. More reason, or, reasoning to pick out dolls that kind of look alike. I don't know. I don't think they look similar. Their freckles look different. Their skin tones are different. Totally different shades of red hair, right? And different eye color. So anyway, these are for sure my 3 favorite Friends Mold 2 dolls. And I never would have thought that there would be a third. So maybe I was about to say that I don't think they could come up with, I think this would be my top 3 forever of this mold, but at one point I wouldn't have thought that they could come up with something so perfect as KMF 53, right? Listen, it goes in one ear and out the other. I say it once and then I can't believe I've said it 3 times in this video. So now I have 1 doll left to show before I introduce a custom and then give my fun little silly announcement. All right, down to the last of the 3 dolls to unbox. And for the record, if 3 seems like a lot, there were actually 7 released the day that these dropped. And okay, I got 4 of them because the one I have in another video. Yeah, that is a lot. Never mind, I take that back. So this one is KMF 69, which is, I know it's a leap in the numbers because I think they wanted to pair her with KMF 68, who is of the same mold. It's I think what fans have called the Asian mold. And even though you may think it sounds like they're all the same, I'm going to compare her to 2 other of my Asian mold dolls after and show how different they really look. What a pretty face. This one, I don't know why she looks so different to me. And I know it's the same thing I say all the time, but you listen, when I show them, you're going to see. But anyway, I actually wasn't planning to get her when I knew that they were going to do the East Asian doll. I should say Asian. When I knew they were going to do the Asian doll with short hair, because I have KMF 10, she's a perfect cross between her and KMF 68. I thought, oh, I'm not going to need her. And then I started seeing how she was looking in the samples and she looked so different. Does she really? You can tell me. This is probably, I think this is my 2nd favorite mold. And it's a mold, just putting this out there, Maplelea, that I would love to see more adventurous things done with her as well, just because it's such a beautiful face that I think, even though it was sculpted to be East Asian, and Maplelea respects that and wants to keep it that way, I just think there could be different kinds of Asians. You know what I'm saying? Different skin tones, hair colors, eye colors. Who knows? Just saying. But maybe that's just me trying to justify buying more dolls that probably to the casual observer they look the same. We can make them look not the same, right? Anyway, this doll, I hate this part. Like I said, she looks so different and has such a unique personality in her face. And I was worried that might just be the sample that has that kind of character in her face. But no, even looking at my doll, and she does too. So I'm gonna do the same thing, show her to you, and then I'm already staring and getting lost. And then I will redress her in the last outfit that was left from what ended up being my Disney dolls. Yes, I finally was able to do that. A funny side story is I mentioned my friend Outspoken Journey because she's buying these from the States, by the way. So she's, it's not as easy for her as it is for me. A lot of people like her, not just that one American, any American. But what I'm saying is, whenever she opens her Maplelea dolls, she just pulls off those plastic sleeves like they're nothing. And I tried that earlier. I had to cut it out because it was so embarrassing. But that one, I feel like maybe it wasn't taped. So that's why I was able to look a lot stronger than I probably am. Took off her entire outfit before I remembered she needs a shirt to wear under her Canadian tuxedo, because I personally would never wear a denim jacket with nothing underneath. And as I was pulling out because I pulled Ariel for the American Girl doll and I left a shirt on her and I was like, oh no, I don't have time to go find a shirt for KMF 69. Duh, she comes with one. So anyway, let me go back to putting this outfit on to show you the difference from putting it on an American Girl. So remember, there's that zipper, so impressive. And I guess it does make sense because as I mentioned, they got an actual jean company, like a denim company, to make this outfit. And that's why it's just pretty spectacular how it really is. It's just like better than my jeans. Who am I kidding? I don't have jeans this nice. Well, I do now. They're on my dolls. And so looking at her, I'm trying to think of how the waist hits because these felt really high-waisted on the American Girl. It doesn't feel like that on her. I feel like it just, in my taste, looks nicer. But for the record, should I untuck this? Anyway, again, doing too much in my head. And then of course, go on like a dream. Sorry, what I was saying before is, do I want to show the shirt open? Do I want it untucked? Oh, sorry, show the jacket open. Do I want to untuck the shirt? I'm trying to look at the lines, make sure I don't have her looking all funny in the hips like I did with Ariel. Oh, and I'll show you how much easier it's going to be to button these up. It's going to be like a joke. But first, let me pull down these sleeves because I don't know if you live in a place where you wear jackets, but there's nothing more mind-boggling or frustrating than having a sleeve pulled up underneath your jacket. And I wouldn't want to do that to my dolls either. Anyway, you probably saw how, over me talking, how easy that, sleeve went right up, how much easier that was to button up. It really was a bit of a struggle for me. For the American Girl doll, it does do up. You just got to put it in the thinnest part of the wrist, which isn't very thin on an American Girl, and then just keep playing with it until it snaps, unless you snap first. I didn't, by the way, even though I cut away. So now I should actually show you rather than blab through the whole thing. Obviously, it's going to fit and snap so easily, but I just wanted to show you still. Now, let's see how I want this to fit. I guess I'm going to button it up. It's a tuxedo. It's just nice knowing that she has her shirt. You know what? I won't button it up all the way. Make her look cool, showing off her little rainbow top. All right, so here she is before I have her take off her hairnet. It's an easy one because she's got that short bob, and I personally love, these short bobs. That was chaotic, but I love these short bobs. I have quite a few American Girl, Maplelea dolls with this haircut because whenever, see, she looks so different to me, and I don't know if I'm just, convincing myself, but I swear she looks very different from the other dolls I'm about to bring out and show you. First, I'm going to bring out KMF 10 because KMF 10 has the same hair, the same wig, parts the same way and everything. And KMF 10, when I talked about the video where I showed customs, I also showed my 5 Grail dolls in that video, and one of them was KMF 10. I thought I would never have her, and I want her so bad because of this hair. They look so different. You could tell me if I'm crazy. But anyway, so it's not just the skin tone difference. So if you look at her, she has a lighter skin tone, but there's something in the eye shape. I feel like the little bit deeper skin tone one her eyes are a little bit smaller, which of course makes her look really cute, really sweet. And then there's something in their eyebrow expression, but they have the same painted eyebrows. I couldn't figure out what it was that makes them look so different. They just do. Maybe her eyes are a little bit bigger now. And the blushing on the new doll, 69, I feel like it goes higher on her face. So it reminds me of sort of, I don't know much about makeup, but I noticed that girls, a lot of, they like to wear their blush up higher almost on their temples. So anyway, please let me know if you see the differences and I'm not just looking for it, but maybe I know them too well and that's why I see the subtle little differences. But now I'm going to bring out 68 in this. So it's going to be, she's kind of a combination of these two dolls. So it's the same. So I believe she's still available on the website. And let me put her this way. So let me put 10 over here. She has, I don't know how many times I try to say that, the very light skin tone like she does, but then she has long hair like KMF 9, who's so different from her. I'm not going to show her, but I will show you. I did it right doll. I'm looking at the monitor and it's mirror images. So anyway, they also look different. Now they've changed her face, haven't they? And I'm not even saying it in an upset way. There's something about her face that looks different. Because to me, I swear, she does look different. The eyes are a little bit bigger or something. But it's very sweet. She's very pretty. Like I said, my second favorite mold, so I'm probably biased. and I just love her. And I have no idea what her character is yet. I think because I had so much going on as far as unboxings and things coming out that I don't know. I have no excuse other than I'm going to come up with a story eventually and share that with you. But before then, I'm going to bring out that custom that I mentioned earlier, and I will show you my wounds close up because it's been a few days and it still hurts. I needed to bring Avery back to help me introduce Callie in a minute because the thing I explained this, of course, when I unboxed KMF 57, but not in this video. And to anyone, it's a little bit necessary for what I'm about to. The doll I'm about to show you is I designed. I picked out the coloring of this doll to be what I hoped would be racially ambiguous to anyone else who wanted her. And for me, she's mixed, so she's black and white. And I want to mention Outspoken Journey again. I hope she doesn't mind, but I watched her unboxing her KMF 57 doll. And the reason she felt a connection with this doll as is because she saw her grandmother in KMF 57, which really warmed my heart because, you know, Outspoken Journey, she's black, but a black doll collector, as in like a black person who collects dolls. And so her grandmother is black, but very light skinned. So for me, so that kind of reiterated how I felt about her being, you know, somebody you can put your own story on. And that's, you know, why I chose what I chose. And also for my own selfish reasons. Now, let me explain how it's more selfish than that. Is I knew that if I could, or if I had a chance to have a lighter skinned, well, she's medium skin tone, but a lighter skinned black Canadian mold doll, I can make customs with her and share with you some of her potential, and you can give me your opinions on it. And that's what I'm saying. The custom I'm about to bring out is a custom from a KMF 57, and when I unboxed her, I said that she was a gift from Maplelea because I, you know, was the inspiration for the design of the doll. And I was like, well, I have a store credit now, so I'm probably just going to buy another KMF 57. And it was because I wanted to make customs. And my original plan was to make as many customs as possible from this doll. But I have to tell you the truth, I don't know if I have it in me to make another one because the thing I love about the black Canadian mold's eyes is the thing that makes her so hard to customize. Because their eyes they're smaller, so they're not as big and round. So pushing out the eyes is so hard. I haven't brought out the doll yet. It's like I'm trying to hype her up. I'm just trying to explain all this just so you understand that there was a lot of work put into this doll. It wasn't easy. And like you could see from there probably that I'm still cut. Like it's been 3 days and I still haven't healed. My thumbs still aren't as functional as they would be in maybe a week or so. So if I don't ever have the bravery or the courage, I should say, to make another another custom from this doll, just know that I had a lot more in mind, at least 2 or 3 more, which is a lot, but I don't know if I'll be able to. But I did really want to share, because when I look at this doll, I can see so many iterations of her and how people would love her. So now, having said all that, let me bring out Callie, and I'll just let you see her before I explain to you what I've done to her. I know that sounds so ominous, but okay, so I know when you look at her, she's blonde and blue-eyed now, so she looks like I've made her into a white doll. But the truth is, I didn't have that as my intention at all. But again, racially ambiguous if you see her that way. When I put her together, I originally had her dressed up in sort of what she looked like a country singer. And it didn't work. I didn't fall in love with her as much as I wanted to. And I saw what I saw in her was the singer from, I should bring her close, before I blab a little bit more. There was this Canadian singer in the 90s whose name, and she had one hit in the States, so some of you may be familiar with her. Her name's Amanda Marshall. And she's Canadian, so in the 90s, when she had a couple hits in Canada, she was all over the place, because that's how Canadian content is here, is like you just get bombarded with it. So what I was really amazed about, so Amanda Marshall has like big blonde curls and light eyes. I'm not sure if they're blue or like gray or something like that. And like a, light medium skin tone. And she has this voice that, she has a gift from somewhere. Very powerful, very soulful voice, but bluesy too. So anyway, that's not important to the story. What's important to the story is one day I saw an interview with her and somebody said to her, how do you have this big, powerful voice? And she said, what always intrigues me about people is they look at me and they don't know I'm a black woman who looks white. So I remember my mind being blown when I heard that, because I'd always thought she was, from like Nashville or Tennessee, or she just looked so country with her big blonde hair and light eyes. But it turned out, that her mom is black from Trinidad and her dad is white. So even though she's mixed too, it's just like, that's why there's such a range of how black people or people of mixed race can look. So that's why I really wanted to see her in different ways, because she could still be black. But if you had this doll, don't do it though. It's so much work and it's so hard. And anyway, so I'm just saying that, like, Maplelea is very protective of this doll still presenting as black, I think, from what I understand. So I wanted to say all that just so that it doesn't look there, so it doesn't sound, like I'm insulting to the person who sculpted this doll. Anyway, so I love her. I didn't love her at first. Maybe it was the pain. Maybe it's because I had this idea in my head and she turned out a little bit different. But dolls tend to do that. They tend to take on their own personalities. And no matter what, nobody's ever going to top Avery for me. She's just perfect. She's exactly what I like in a doll. But I do want to show them side by side because they look so different, I think, even on screen. I'll probably have to take Avery off because to me she looks so beautiful that I think she tends to make Callie look a little less beautiful. But it's a bias, right? So see how, just like you take a mold and it just takes a different wig and a different eye color and they look so different. And as I said, I really wanted to make more customs over time with this mold, but I just don't know if I have the strength or I have to forget the pain before I can come at it again. Okay, so now I've said all that I can explain my little announcement that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. It was probably 2 hours ago at this point for you. I have no idea. But a lot of you have asked if I could ever, I've said, I really wish you could go into the store, because I talk about going there a lot and visiting and talking with the people who work there, and they're very welcoming to me. And I guess they know I make content and promote their dolls, promote their products. So that's, I guess they appreciate that. So people have asked, because I once labeled a video as a store visit, because when you go to Maplelea, you're not really going in and like it's a store. You just go to the door, you ring the bell, you say your name, and they hand you your package. And that's sort of how it is to visit the store for everyone. And because I've talked so much on here about being in the store, at one point their store was a bit more presented as a store. Like you go in and there were displays and you could have a bit more of an experience and shop that way, but it's not like that anymore. It's an online experience with a pickup option. But people have said, because I go in there, could I ask, or could I one day do a store tour? So because enough people have asked at this point, especially when I unboxed her, and I guess people felt like, oh, he's really in with Maplelea. And that's not completely true, but I did ask. I was too embarrassed to ask before, but enough of you asked that I did. And they did agree to let me come in. I don't know if I want to say it all right now, but they're showing me way more than I ever would have asked, and way more than you probably have expected, even if you've asked. So I'm going to see if Catherine will answer some questions. I don't know if she will. I haven't cleared this with her yet, but I'm saying, I just wanted to say this to anybody who's, seeing this and excited at the idea of me going in there and sharing with everyone. So if there are any questions, I can't guarantee I'll ask. I can't guarantee she'll answer. But if there are some questions that seem to be common, like if there seems to be things that people really do wonder about Maplelea, then I'll try to ask and I'll see if she's comfortable answering anything. Because she was already offering so much that it's like, okay, Blaine, you're really overstepping your welcome now. So I can't promise that. And I will say that she won't answer any. I know that they won't answer any questions about upcoming products. Like, that's not a fair question. I would be embarrassed to ask. So even if you ask me to, I'm not going to, because I feel like that's overstepping. I feel like I wouldn't even want to know, because I've known about so many products for so long. It's driven me like, I can't wait. So I don't know if I would want to know about future. Anyway, so regardless, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best, but at least I will soon have a store visit video. The visit's going to be pretty soon, so I'm hoping that you will see this video very shortly after I upload it and get to this part of the video, even though I'm sure it's going to be long. And then, we'll see. But regardless, at least I'm going to get to show you guys inside the store, which I know so many of you were disappointed that when I said a store visit last time, I literally just showed the building from outside. I know that was silly, but that's the general experience. And I'll explain that better when I do the actual store tour. So anyway, thank you for joining me with all this fun stuff that I got to unbox, and meeting Callie over here. I don't even think she's related to Avery. They're not cousins or anything. So they're two very different dolls in my opinion. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, and hopefully I'll see you soon in the next video.